Hi folks, how you doing? Here we go with another video analyzing another game of the genius from the Philippines, Wesley So. Here I chose a game, a really nice game I saw. He played in the World Youth Chess Championship under 12 in 2004 against nothing else than Fabiano Caruana. Yes sir, we got Wesley So against Fabiano Caruana in this game. When they both were little kids, they were under 12, so kind of 10, 11 years old. And nowadays they are both above 2700. In fact, Caruana is, I think he broke the 2800, or he's very near of them, one of the top 10 players. And they both are very, very, very strong grandmasters here in the elite, and they already played when they were young in this World Youth Chess Championship in under 12. In this game, the guy from Philippines, Wesley, is playing white, while the American-Italian Fabiano Caruana is playing black. We got e4, c5, a Sicilian, and Wesley plays f4. Not the most common move, but okay, it is trying to transpose into some kind of Grand Prix attack or something. And in this move order, as far as I know, it is supposed not to be very great, not to achieve anything really special, because black has this response d5. As far as I know, I don't know much about the theory of this position, but I think this is supposed to be not bad at all for black. Black's supposed to be very equal in these games, at least very equal. So here white takes and queen takes d5. And after knight c3, queen d8 is the most played move. Now knight f3, logical move, and Caruana plays g6. Not the most common, but also really very logical as well, very sensible move. Most played move order is, for some reasons, is knight f6, and after knight e5, trying to create some troubles on f7 probably with bishop c4. Black plays e6, and this is supposed to be roughly equal. But Caruana didn't play this. He played g6, playing in a more or less dragon style. Here Wesley goes ahead with d4, he takes, knight takes d4, now bishop g7 is obviously attacking the knight on d4 with two pieces, bishop e3 defending it, knight f6, bishop e2, short castle. Here a move, Wesley So plays a move I don't quite understand that much. It seems a little bit weird to me, it weakens a little bit unnecessarily in my opinion, the king side, but okay, I'm not a great player at all, so this is just my opinion. h3 seems a little bit weird though. Some other move like, I don't know, short castling seems more natural at the first sight. Of course he probably had his reasons to play this h3 move, and as we will see, it will serve him to win the game at the end, strange enough. Now here Caruana plays knight d5, forcing matters in the center. Knight takes, queen takes, and now Wesley castles. And I think this is a roughly equal game. Both players have more or less development. White has more development, but I think black compensates that white has more development with some weaknesses that white has here in the king side. I don't know, these pawns really look not that natural to me. Seems a little bit artificial, this pawn on h3, g4 and f4. But okay, black has no weaknesses. He has the bishop pair. The bishop on g7 is great. He's going to put the knight on c6, develop the bishop, and probably shouldn't have any problem with correct play. Rook d8, controlling the trying to put lots of control in the d file. Bishop f3 is attacking the queen, and the queen goes to c5. It's attacking the knight on d4 now with three pieces, and also it's x-raying the bishop on e3, which is not protected, so that the knight couldn't go away without leaving the bishop under attack, which would be taken with check, by the way. And also the rook is pinning the knight on against the queen. So he has lots of pressure against this knight on d3, on d4, sorry. So more or less only move here, c3 defending. Now knight c6, more pressure against the knight, and here white must relieve some pressure. It is not possible to play to develop any further with all this pressure against your pieces. The bishop takes on c6. I'm sure Wesley didn't want to give up his bishop pair, this nice looking bishop on f3, but there is really no other choice if you want to keep playing. B takes, and now queen f3. Now the bishop on e3 is now protected, and there is no more pin on the d file with the rook against the queen. So, well, white has solved his mini problems he had. His really little inaccuracies. So he's back on the track. He has no great weaknesses, and this is still should be more or less equal. At this point, Caruana took on d4, bishop takes, and queen d5. Now, having this structure, queen e3 was played here because taking on d5, and this is, I don't know, in my opinion, and probably in the opinion of more players, this is a little bit drawish because we got opposite color bishop, and well, although black has a little weakness here, a little bit weak pawn on c6, it is not in open file, and his rook on d5 looks great, so he will be challenging the d file, and well, this should be more or less drawish, but of course still a very playable position. So Wesley didn't play it this way. He didn't exchange the queens right away. He went to e3, just attacking the pawn on e7, taking the control of this e file, and just keeping the game alive. Bishop e6, developing the bishop, protecting indirectly with this e7 pawn. Rook a e1 and rook a b8. The pawn on b2 is a target now. b3, protecting both the pawns on a2 from the queen and the b2 pawn from the rook. Now rook b7 and g4. Suddenly, white kingside pawns are a siege weapon against the black king, and he's going to try to open some lines against black, as he has not really much weaknesses. He can afford himself to, well, try to attack in kind of not having that much obvious weaknesses black position, but he can afford this because all his pieces are coordinated, and black really hasn't that much to play against white king, for instance. So as we saw, this h3 pawn now, this h3 pawn move now has paid off, and he can play this g4 move. And suddenly black has to be careful, and because at least he finds, unless he finds really concrete counterplay, he could get under big troubles, as we will see in the game. He plays c5, giving this pawn to try to reach a drawish endgame, to try to get activity to compensate that pawn. Now he plays queen d2. Caruana is willing to exchange the queens, but it seems that at this point white has already some slight edge, which should give him lots of pressure, at least in the long term. This should be not very comfortable for black, although it shouldn't be winning on the spot, I guess. Bishop d4 was played here, closing the d file for the black rook, and not exchanging right away the queens, but also taking it here. Rook takes, and I don't know, maybe f5, even exchanging queens like Caruana. Black here seems to want. Seems like white has lots of activity, and black will have to be very, very careful. He's already sacrificed a pawn, for instance. But anyway, bishop d4 played, which is really another very logical move. Now, for instance, white is threatening to play queen e5, threatening checkmate in a couple of squares, and f6 wouldn't be an option because the bishop on e6 would be hanging. So exchanging queens is more or less forced here. Rook takes e3, and now a5. Caruana looking for activity, for counterplay, desperately on the queen side, but it seems that So is getting there first. f5 is played. Now bishop d5 is played here. Taking doesn't seem to be great either. Now the g file is open, and white could easily transfer one of his rooks and try to create lots of problems for black king. So bishop d5 is played, and now bishop c5, attacking the pawn on e7, e6, and here c4. And it may not seem a lost game to the amateur players' eyes so far, but the point is that at this point, on the 27th move, Fabiano Caruana, rated 21.96, by the way, at that point, already resigned the game. Let us see if we can understand why. Now, black bishop is going to have some problems to get situated in a more or less proper square. Now, what to do here? The bishop is under attack. He cannot go here to the king side. The only square seems to be to go to c6. After this, f takes e6, f takes, and rook takes on e6. Now the black bishop is under attack once again. It seems the most logical square to go, it seems to be d7, of course, going to e8. It's going to fall under some nasty attack with rook f8 check, and white is taking the rook for free on e8. So bishop d7, but it is not going to be great either, but because now, for instance, I'm sure there are lots of ways of playing this. There are lots of good moves here, but very normal move like rook a6. White is going to take this pawn. That would be already 3 pawns up, and which is much more important, white has lots of activity. His black king is weak, and black has really no way of coordinating his pieces. They are really looking very passive, and white is slowly going to win this game. He has already an advantage of 2 pawns, and this is going to be over in a couple of moves, really, because this is going to be 3 pawns and lots of activity, really no compensation for black. So at this point, after c4, Caruana resigned. A really short game in which we see two young geniuses, GMs to be, really 2700 rated players to be playing in the World Youth Chess Championship in 2004, and really we see the guy from Philippines, Wesley So, showing really good principles and beating Fabiano Caruana, a current chess star, in just 27 moves. I hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching.